Okay, good morning. My name is Dawson Gage, and I'm making this video as a contingency plan for the possibility that I might get arrested and taken to the detention facility here in New Hanover County today. So before I leave to go to court, I wanted to make this message for my friends and anyone else who might take an interest. The thing that I have to be in court about this morning is an allegation that by leaving a letter at the law offices of Bernie and Jones, leaving two letters, in fact, one in an envelope that said Ms. Emily Jones, Bernie and Jones, and the other that said Ms. Isabel Shepard, care of Emily Jones. What I was doing there is doing what I thought was completely legal, what ought to be unquestionably lawful, which is to communicate with somebody who is, an opposing party in a quote-unquote civil matter, communicating with them lawfully, politely, respectfully, in a civilized way, via written communication, handwritten communication, hand-delivered to the opposing party's law office, counsel's law office. This all gets very complicated and very sort of lawyerly very quick, which is why I told Tom Goolsby that I do not have the time to go to law school. I need to understand these things now. What I think that I actually understand, though, that makes me different from the people, both the judges and the lawyers and everything at this courthouse in this county and in North Carolina in general, is that I take an approach based on liberty, which is what I think is the common and typical attitude of people in North Carolina and of people in the United States. People have a general supposition that this is a free country, and that North Carolina is a free state. And that ought to be the beginning and really the end of all law, because there's no point in a law that takes away freedom for benefits which, because of the opportunity cost, or anyways, let's see what else is there to say. This has been so hard. All I can say beyond that is that I want to reiterate and amplify and intensify my invitation to anyone and everyone who I know, or even if I don't know you, but especially to the people who have known me in my life, the ones from Wilmington and the ones from elsewhere, the people I met at prep school in Phillips Academy, Andover, and the people that I met at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Anyone that I've met along the way. The idea of the backpack archipelago is one that occurred to me in about the spring of 2008, which is that our society is increasingly fragmented with the differences that are imbued to people by the education system, by the system of specialization, by the 21st century manifestations of the division of labor, and that what we've done is separate ourselves both intellectually and geographically at the same time. We also have availed ourselves of information technology in a way that appears to overcome these differences, both the intellectual differences and the mental and spiritual differences, which our educations create between us and among us. Those divisions do not appear so very obviously when you can instantly communicate with anybody who you used to know. And the idea of Facebook used to be the sort of keep up with the people that you went to college with was the original idea, at least if I'm not mistaken. And yet, I am not allowed to view a timeline of exactly who blocked me on Facebook and when. So with this letter, I would like to submit a request for public records to Facebook Incorporated, or whatever the hell it's called, for the timeline of blocking, of Facebook blocking, when people blocked me, who blocked me, and whether they are talking to each other. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a ridiculous social media conspiracy. And these people do not necessarily understand the technology that they are using, at least not as well as I do. There are limitations, as always, to the extent to which proprietary software, closed systems, and totalitarian governments can be scrutinized and understood. But nevertheless, we can infer certain things. And one thing that I've been able to infer is that the people who say that my communications on the internet, whether it's Facebook Messenger, publications on Facebook, publications on my own website, dawsongage.net, I have not tested the limits of what they would do to me if I started tweeting about the prohibited people or subjects. And of course, there are other websites too, many of them. But I shouldn't need to go to another website just to test what North Carolina has become in the way of a totalitarian police state, which attempts to regulate the internet more severely, in fact, than any jurisdiction on planet Earth. With that, I'm going to say goodbye and put this letter. If you see this from the beginning of the message, you'll have seen that I'm afraid that I might have to go back to jail for at least 30 days today. But hopefully, I will prevail in court this morning. And my last message is that this is our struggle. This is our journey. Bring down the district attorney. Brittany Parrish now.